Welcome back to another Coffee with Mare, and it's kind of a carnivore segment at the same time. Oops. Coffee. It's National Coffee Day, so happy National Coffee Day. I just came back upstairs to my little home after picking up my meat delivery. I've mentioned this a couple of times before, where I found a butcher in Calgary who delivers. There are a number of butchers who deliver, okay, so I'm not saying they're the only ones, but when I was doing my research and looking at who's dealing with local and what the prices are like and what the variety is, Cut Right Meats was the one that I decided to go with, and I'm going to tag them in this because they really deserve a shout out. They are so helpful. I called them yesterday because they've just released a new version of their online store, and for some reason I couldn't update my shopping cart, and they said, well, okay, why don't you just tell us what you want, and then if you would like to do an e-transfer, we can do that. So they totally accommodated me because I'm still distancing and mostly isolating, so I really need to keep that, you know, the 6 degrees of separation, which has now become the 6 feet of separation. I really need to maintain that boundary. It's important to me because I need to stay as healthy as I possibly can. I'm mama, and I just launched my coaching program because I'm feeling so good and so much better than I was. So I need to maintain that level of health. So I thought I'd do a little unboxing with y'all. And you'll have to forgive my shirt. It was also garbage day, and we had a little garbage juice accident. This is actually water. I just cleaned my shirt. No, I'm not showing you garbage juice on my shirt. But so they also have farm fresh eggs, and these are beautiful, delicious eggs, which I eat a lot of eggs, and because I'm making a lot of sauces these days that are egg based, eggs are, they just make me happy. And it's kind of like butter. Butter, and I like, when my sister goes shopping for my family, my daughter and I at Costco, usually it's at least 3 or 4 pounds of butter that needs to come into my house, and that's probably every couple of weeks. So just kind of giving you an idea of how many groceries we go through in the month. I mean, we buy lots and lots of eggs. We buy them in flats. I'm actually saving all of those flats because I'm going to do a fun makey-do craft for my home. And when I do that, I'll probably post a video of that too. Here we go. This is 11 pounds of delicious chuck steak. Chuck steak is poor man's ribeye. So if you don't have a ribeye budget, but you have ribeye tastes, get chuck. And look at this. It's like beautiful. And for me, I just pack this straight into my deep freeze. So I don't care if the meat comes frozen or unfrozen. Sometimes there's a variety of both, depending on what it is that they have pre-cut in the store. But look, oh my God. No, I don't eat it raw. And I've never tried eating frozen beef. I can't imagine that it's really any good. I like the flavor of beef cooked in different ways and different textures. But so we've got 11 pounds of these beautiful, beautiful chuck steaks. I've posted loads of pictures already because Chuck is my boyfriend. Really, this is the only guy I'm dating right now. His name's Chuck, and his girlfriend's name is Bernays. So, you know, if you guys are stuck at home or you're starting to be concerned about lockdown again, which is a very real concern right now, just with the numbers that are starting to show up around the country, in Canada, that, you know, this is a really good, viable solution if you want to take one thing off of your grocery list. One of the things that I was running into at the beginning of COVID when my sister offered to go and pick up groceries for us is that a lot of the things that I had on my list were sold out. And you can kind of expect that that's going to happen again. So things like ground beef at Costco, sold out. Ground pork, sold out. even the eye of round roasts that I was eating at the beginning and cutting them into steaks, it was difficult to get a package for under 60 bucks, which not a big deal, but if the roasts looked really lean at that time, I'm like, we need fattier meat. We need more fat, better quality cuts. Because also my jaws were getting sore. I don't know how much eye of round steak you've ever eaten in your life, but I have eaten buttloads of eye of round steak, and let me tell you, my jaw muscles were getting sore from that much chewing. And yeah, I've cooked it in different ways, and you can kind of make eye of round a lot tastier of a cut through marinating and doing all of that kind of stuff. But personally, I'm in the keep it simple mode. I want to be able to cook my steak, and then if I feel like pan frying it because I want a different texture, you know, then that works. So it's been my Instant Pot, which I have here, my trusty little Instant Pot. Well, it's not little, it's the big one. It's the 8-quart. And then, so it's been pressure cooking my chuck steak and then making steak bites that are pan fried in bacon grease. It's so good. If you haven't tried that, bacon grease is ideal for doing things that are crispy because it has a much higher smoking point. You can't do it with butter because your butter will burn by the time your steak achieves the texture that you want, because you don't want it charred and scorched all to hell either. You want it to taste a little bit bacony and a whole lot steaky and a bit crispy, and it's really awesome. Chuck loves the barbecue, loves to be smoked, loves marinades. And it was really interesting. I marinated some chuck steak a little while ago in some red wine, and of course I used my favorite, again, I like going to my spice rack when I'm talking to you. This is that spice called asafoetida or hing that I get from Silk Road Spice Merchant, and that you use such tiny, tiny little amounts. It's very powerful. So you only have to add a little bit, and I had put it in with the red wine. And this gives a garlic and onion flavor, so I don't have to use garlic and onions. And this is a very stomach-friendly spice that I discovered when I was actually doing the FODMAP diet with my with one of the specialists that I was going to for a while. So this has now become a staple in my pantry. I'm still on my first bottle of this stuff. And the one thing that I want to mention that I didn't talk about the other day when I was making the béarnaise sauce is that I went to Silk Road after looking at a whole bunch of different local Indian retailers and grocery stores. We have amazing, amazing grocers that stock like East Indian spices and stuff in Calgary, because we have a huge community of people who are from that part of the world. So I went to a bunch of stores and I looked, and most of them, if you check the ingredients, what they used as an anti-caking agent was either wheat flour or rice flour. And at that point I'm like, well, I knew I was severely intolerant to wheat and rice. So I said there has to be a better alternative, and finally got around to Silk Road, and they had this. I had called ahead to see if they had it because it's not something that's common in North American cooking at all. So I wasn't even sure they'd know what I was talking about. But I went there because I had also found another spice replacement that I'll introduce you guys to, tonka beans, another day. But Silk Road, they kind of are my go-to for things that are difficult to find. So anyway, this stuff is great. But this mixed with the red wine and then the chuck steak marinated in it, it almost gave the meat a sweet sort of finish to it. I can't describe it any better than that because I didn't use any sugar, and I used a very dry red wine. I don't like sweet red wines anyway. But it really was an interesting flavor profile. So play around, try different things, you know, just try things that don't have sugar in them, like vinegar and wine. And, you know, if you are using citrus, then use a little bit of citrus, use a little bit of lemon. A little acidity will help to break down some of the structure in the meat, so it just makes it tender. So you don't have to use any chemical meat tenderizers, and you don't have to pound the snot out of it. You know, be kind. Chuck likes to have, you know, he likes the love. He's not so much on being used and abused. We try and respect the meat that's healing our bodies. So anyway, this has got to go in the deep freeze before it all ends up starting to thaw. But I wanted to share that with you, and that their eggs, oh, their eggs are really, really good too. So, and I think it's $10.95 a flat, and they're just really tasty, really great quality eggs. So try and find somebody that you can support to shop locally. If they can deliver to your house, even better, especially if you're isolating and you're having a hard time finding really great quality meats. In Calgary, this has been my solution, and I know that things changed dramatically after I upgraded myself to chuck steak, even though I think it was only $1 more per pound than what I was paying before with the meats I was buying at Costco. So check out the alternatives. Fatty meat is the way to go. It tastes better, it's easier to chew, and it just has so much flavor. And beef fat is by far one of the best types of animal fat that you can have, because it's pure, and beef just has the most bioavailable nutrients out of any food on the planet for humans. So beef and eggs and coffee, because it's National Coffee Day. So go enjoy a coffee with me. You know, think about what you're eating, think about what makes you feel good, and just keep doing it. We'll talk to you guys later. So for today, this is Sick Mom. Check it out.